Tati Westbrook is a name we have been talking about a lot recently because it seems that the more that we learn about her, the worse that she gets. And she's been in so many huge scandals recently, it's honestly hard to keep track. That's why today on the channel, I'm going to be filling you in on the top 10 biggest Tati Westbrook controversies. I'm Mackenzie, you're watching InformOverload, and let's spill this piping hot tea. Starting off at number 10, we have collabing with Jeffree Star. Back when Tati was still an unproblematic queen, but Jeffree was getting called out for his racist past, the two collabed on Jeffree's channel in 2017. And although this helped bring Tati a new audience, it made a lot of fans angry with her. According to Revelist, fans thought Westbrook's collab meant she approved of Star's alleged past negative behavior, which included well-documented racism. Tati responded by defending the collab in a Snapchat video, claiming people didn't know the real Star. She said, "What you see on Twitter and Snap doesn't always give you the full story." I would believe her, but I mean, we definitely know a lot about Jeffree now and it's not too good, but same goes for her. And at number 9, Halo Vitamin launch. When Tati launched her first beauty company, Halo Beauty, in 2018, many fans were excited that she was finally putting out products. But that excitement quickly diminished when people started to look further into the products. According to Allure, Halo Beauty hair, skin, and nail booster included an ingredient called saw palmetto, a controversial ingredient that may potentially interfere with hormonal birth control, as well as causing some other side effects too. As a response to all the backlash, she defended herself on Snapchat, saying, "I feel very misunderstood. I hate that my character is being thrashed. Saw palmetto is not going to get you pregnant. It's not going to make your birth control not work. I am working with the best physicians, the best scientists, the best nutritionists. I have a team. I have advisors." We've talked about this formula through and through to get to this point. But Allure also spoke to certified specialists about the issue, and they said the ingredients may affect hormone levels. But they did also say that more research needs to be done before we can make a definitive conclusion. And at number 8, called out a friend on Instagram. The thing that really started it all. On April 22nd of 2019, James Charles posted an Instagram story promoting Sugar Bear Hair. And since her newly launched brand was a direct competitor of Sugar Bear Hair, Tati was apparently livid, which we all learned later when she uploaded a series of Instagram story videos calling out a certain friend, who she didn't name, for using her, saying in the story, "Everybody uses who they need to use." And even though she didn't name James directly, everyone was pretty darn sure who she was talking about. And not long after that, James Charles publicly apologized to Tati on Instagram and gave an explanation for the sponsorship, saying that he needed security at Coachella because he was feeling unsafe. Writing in a post, "I did not think about the competition," he wrote. "I've supported Tati both online and off like she has done for me. And I'm devastated that I hurt someone that I truly love and have endless respect for." And at number 7, Bye Sister. And now for what everyone is waiting for, Bye Sister. The infamous video was uploaded in May of 2019, and it slammed James Charles for a plethora of reasons. Not only did Tati bring up the vitamin incident, she called James a bad friend for going behind her back after Tati and her husband James helped him tons of times. The video also brought up some darker issues, like James being fame and power hungry, and thinking he's better than everyone else because of his fame. The whole thing combined made James look like a terrible person, and he was completely canceled, losing a record number of subscribers in one day. Tati's video was viewed by over 40 million people before it was deleted. And at number 6, inappropriate conduct. Another darker part of the Bye Sister video was Tati making claims that James tricked straight men into thinking that they were gay just so that James could get with them, with her straight up saying that James manipulated people's sexuality. And this was made worse by the fact that James was getting into drama with Gage Gomez at that time, who was someone who James went to Coachella with that year. Gomez actually posted a video outlining his experience with James, saying that James wanted things to happen that Gage was not comfortable with Gomez saying in the video, "He continued to speculate that he didn't know or that he forgot that I told him that I was straight in the beginning. I thought Coachella was going to be a good time. There were some points where I guess he wasn't sure how I was feeling, even though I was telling him the whole time that I wasn't into, I guess you could say, experimenting." And these accusations from Gomez made people turn on James even faster. Halfway through at number 5, James finally clapped back. James initially made a short apology video to Tati, but that only made things worse for him. So for the next apology, he took his time and got his receipts in order. James uploaded his 41-minute response video called No More Lies, where he refuted every lie that Tati told about him. The main things that James proved was that his Sugar Bear Hair deal was not pre-planned, and he worked with Nikita Dragun on that day to get it. He also shut down Tati's manipulation allegations, giving more context about Tati's birthday dinner, saying that the waiter actually initiated conversation with James, and agreed to meet with him and also make out with him too. James also showed proof that the guy said that he was not straight and was willing to experiment, with James finishing off that segment saying, "I am a 19-year-old virgin. I've never and will never use my fame, money, or power to manipulate or get any sexual actions from a guy. That is disgusting. That is not me, and the fact that Tati brought this up blows my mind." And that video was so epic. After he uploaded it, he started to gain back the subscribers that he lost, and Tati started losing subscribers like crazy. One source said Tati almost immediately lost 200,000 subscribers after he posted it. And at number 4, Tati's return. Immediately after the scandal, Tati deleted all videos related to the topic, and about a month later, she tried to start posting regularly again. And on June 3rd of 2019, she uploaded her first video back. But in that video, she did not address anything about the scandal or give any updates about what had taken place since. The video was also clickbait, with the title being "I'm back ... when it was literally just a normal makeup video. And on the comments of that video, people were basically just mad that she didn't address the scandal at all. Some of the comments read, "Whoa, so we're just gonna pretend that nothing happened," and "Tati, I stand by everything that I said." Also Tati deletes video. So clearly the response was not too great. And at number 3, Tati starts more drama. Tati was posting normally on her channel for most of 2019, and even though other creators in the YouTube space were not too fond of her, she still had some diehard fans willing to forgive her. But then about 6 months ago, she suddenly stopped posting. This coincided with the bi-sister scandal coming back into relevance again, and Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson getting scrutinized for their perceived involvement. And in the midst of all the drama surrounding the 2019 event, Tati decided to set the record straight by coming back and making her own video on June 30th of 2020 called "Breaking My Silence." In the video, she completely throws Shane and Jeffree under the table, practically blaming them for the whole thing, saying in it, "I made the video as a result of all the poisonous lies that were fed to me by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. Believing those lies and letting myself be gaslit into making that video is one of the biggest regrets of my life." In the video, she makes tons of claims about the pair, trying to cancel them into obscurity, claiming they both knew of the video, and Shane even offered to help edit it and make the thumbnail. And of course, after a video like that, everyone was terrified about how dark the beauty community seemed. Like, I was shook to my core after that video. And at number 2, canceled again. After the initial shock of Tati's video had worn off, everyone was looking more closely into the story, and she didn't have the blind trust that people had given her the last time. People actually started to give her a ton of backlash, because some influencers quickly started poking holes in her story. One person in particular was Trisha Paytas, who made people second guess a lot of what Tati had said. After that, people were not happy that Tati took zero accountability for her actions, and was also beating a dead horse by coming back and coming at Jeffree and Shane at a time when they were already getting canceled. People were also very doubtful that a grown woman could be duped into ending someone's career, especially since it was someone she once loved so much. And lastly, she made some comments in that video that had some people thinking that everything was really just about the vitamins after all. And after a few weeks, the reaction on Tati's video was so bad, she ended up deleting the comments and turning off the likes to dislikes ratio. The last time I saw it, it was at 50%, which is terrible. And of course, the number 1 is Tati's most recent scandal surrounding her being sued by her former business partner. Apparently, Tati and her husband James are getting sued for their shady business dealings and not keeping up their end of a contract. And for the main things that were exposed in the lawsuit, allegedly, even though she told her subscribers that she was working on formulating her vitamin brand for years, she actually only set up the business in the state of California months before the launch, with people alleging that she used private labeled formulas for the vitamins, which means she just slapped her label on already made vitamins. The partner is also alleging that the couple made a deal that would benefit them in the short term in exchange for the Westbrooks working with him for years to come. But instead of doing that, she launched Tati Beauty without him. Apparently, Tati also said that she had powerful friends that would promote her product. And that's why Jeffree Star and James Charles are named in that lawsuit. And Tati even asked them to turn down deals Sugar Bear Hair had offered them, making it clear that the whole bi-sister scandal was about vitamins after all. So that is all for the list today, but seriously, after spilling all that tea, I am like genuinely dehydrated. That was an insane video. And I need to know your thoughts on all of this. Which Tati scandal do you think was the worst? And how do you feel about her now? For me, I think it's clear that she's a wolf in sheep's clothing that only cares about money. That's why she was okay with completely destroying James Charles' career just for some vitamins. But before I head out of here, I'm gonna shout out some comments from my last collab with Johnny on Ellen and Rick Moranis. Celestina Marie said, "It's okay that Ellen won. It just told us that the People's Choice Award is BS, and when shouldn't watch it or support it. Yeah, I think as time goes on, everyone's starting to realize that all award shows are just like genuinely like fake. Like they're all rigged, they're all lies, they're all about PR. They're not actually about who people are liking and watching. Then Adam Filewood said, Kelly Clarkson is so much more deserving. Her show is great. I agree, I love her show, and she has some really good people on there. She has like influencers on there, great show. Although it's pretty new, so that might be why she was included. Then Santa said, so this guy's hobby is walking around punching innocent people. That is sick. It is, like, that was awful. That was a terrible, awful story. I don't understand how a person like that exists in this world, but unfortunately they do. So hopefully justice is served in that one. Alright guys, that is all for the video today. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you made it all the way here, we really appreciate it. And like and subscribe to the channel if you liked us and want to see more. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Jeffree Star has gotten himself into a ton of controversies over the years.
From fighting with Kat Von D to blackmail, we've got everything you need to know about the biggest Jeffree Star controversies coming up right here on IO.
At number 10, Kat Von D feud. Back in 2016, Jeffree Star and fellow makeup mogul Kat Von D got into a pretty big beef online, which resulted in the two of them becoming frenemies. They had been friends since 2006, and 2 years after that, Kat started her makeup business. Not too long after, Jeffree launched his company and things were calm. But 2016 rolled around and things got messy. Kat somehow found out that Jeffree had allegedly neglected to pay one of their mutual friends for their graphic design work. Jeffree denied these allegations, but Kat took things public and posted to her Instagram where she told her followers that she no longer wanted to be associated with Jeffree Star. After a bout of tweeting and sometime later, Kat released a video about Jeffree, and in retaliation, Jeffree did the same. Basically, they were trying to tell their sides of the whole graphic design controversy. Things ended with their GD friend tweeting saying that things have been resolved between him and Jeffree. Throughout this debacle and Kat wanting to quote disassociate herself from him, she even tried removing a lipstick shade that she named after Jeffree, but she couldn't because she didn't actually own the rights to her company. Jeffree briefly brought up the drama in 2018 when he did a video titled Full Face of Brands That Hate Me, and he gave more details about their feud, but since then they've kept their distance from each other. But before we get into our next point, make sure you guys tap that like button because it really helps us out.
In at number 9, Hush Money. Long before Jeffree Star had built his YouTube makeup empire, he was merely a politically incorrect MySpace celebrity. In addition to his many other controversies, some of Star's former friends, peers, and associates have all exposed him for being physically and at times sexually abusive towards others at the height of his MySpace fame. Yes, MySpace fame was a thing. Now, Insider.com had done a lot of digging into these allegations. In their investigation, they obtained text message exchanges between the victims and alleged abuser Jeffree Star. The sources cited that there was even a $10,000 offer made by Star for them to retract their allegations. There was also one accuser and 2 other people who witnessed Jeffree grope men around him without their consent. A total of 5 people even said that they personally witnessed Jeffree use a close-range stun gun and other tasing devices to hurt and intimidate those around him. Regardless, not only did this controversy open up more information about his abusiveness, but it also proved that he was paying people to stay quiet about it.
At number 8, Bi Sister. I'm sure you're all familiar with the events of Dramageddon and the Bi Sister scandal. Basically, there was some drama regarding Tati Westbrook, James Charles, and Jeffree Star, and a bunch of other people. Tati was upset with James for having endorsed one of her vitamin competitors, Sugar Bear Hair, and went on to read him to filth, making allegations and really just painting him to be the villain. Jeffree Star later joined in on the controversy by adding receipts to back Tati up about the allegations that she made, among other things. Later on down the line, Tati dragged Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson into the mix, where she blamed them for the events of the scandal and that they were the ones who planted the evidence against James. Meanwhile, James was left picking up the pieces of his shattered career and was left without very many allies. Now, because this is an internet scandal, we can never really know for sure if something was true or not and who said what, but the bottom line is that Jeffree was totally involved and he got a lot of backlash for adding himself into the drama the first time.
In at number 7, Too Faced Cosmetics. In 2016, Too Faced Cosmetics and beauty blogger Nikki Tutorials teamed up to make a palette called The Power of Makeup by Nikki Tutorials. This launch was a massive success and led to more than $9 million in sales for Too Faced. However, Nikki ended up only making $50,000. Now, this may seem like nothing in terms of what the company had grossed, but in reality there was a lot more at play when it comes down to a business deal. Perhaps Nikki only was able to negotiate that much and thus the company took in more profit. Due to Nikki being rather close close with Jeffree Star, though he needlessly got himself involved. Star decided to tweet out, "Hey Gerard Blandino, should I expose how shady you were with Nikki Tutorial's contract, or maybe save that for another day?" Yes, Jeffree, because the way to get a better business deal for your friends is to openly threaten blackmail online.
At number 6, the cremated palette. Back in May, Jeffree Star released his winter/spring collection, including his black and white palette called Cremated. This collection faced a lot of backlash because of its name and overall vibe. Since the collection came out in the midst of quarantine, a lot of fans thought that the name was very distasteful and disrespectful to the many people who had died during the coronavirus pandemic. People thought that the name of the palette was inappropriate because of its relation to death and burial practices, and the promotional photos didn't go over well either because of the vibe Jeffree was going for. Since the palette was a black and white color scheme and had death vibes, if you will, Jeffree included glamour shots of coffins, hearses, and other gothic and death-related imagery. If that wasn't enough to make fans upset, the names of the eyeshadow shades included words like the morgue, gravedigger, and death certificate. When Jeffree responded to the backlash, he reassured his fans that he didn't mean to offend anyone with the collection and that the collection names and everything was created and finalized in late 2019 before the pandemic hit. Though it wasn't intended to offend anyone, it still maybe wasn't the best time to release that collection.
And at number 5, hairy makeup. For some people that had ordered the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson Conspiracy Collection eyeshadow palette, they got a little extra something along with it. No, it wasn't a gift bag or a free t-shirt. Some people actually found hair-like material mixed into the product. One customer tweeted a reply to Jeffree and attached a video of her pulling a hair out of her palette, and in the tweet she said, "Hey Jeffree, I love the Conspiracy palette, but I was swatching pigment and found a hair-like material in it. I just wanted to address the issue and hopefully get it resolved." In response, Jeffree stated that they were not hairs but rather ribbon fibers, adding that they are not toxic, it's completely safe, but still disgusting. At least he got that part right.
At number 4, animal exploitation. This more recent scandal has people coming for Jeffree Star among other influencers for their alleged involvement in animal exploitation. Recently, some influencers came under fire for posing with various primates as they promoted the brand Bananas Monkey. Though a lot of people online were criticizing those who participated in the promotion for their exploitation of these animals and their alleged encouragement of owning wild species, Jeffree Star was specifically picked on for having double standards in regards to the security of animals. Some fans pointed out that though he prides himself on having a vegan and cruelty-free makeup line, he's been seen handling and posing with wild animals. We had the backlash following the use of monkeys in the PR stunt, as well as his recent use of a large alligator or crocodile or whatever it was from the set of his new Blood Money collection shoot. Fans on Twitter were calling him out for his involvement with these wild animals being used as props in the entertainment industry and highlighted some of the treatments that these animals may get, calling these actions, quote, exploitative and gross.
And at number 3, bullying kids. Jeffree is no stranger to online feuds. He's gone to war on Twitter with some of the top celebrities, which was all fine because it was just adults arguing with other adults. But when he set his sights on 10-year-old Mason Disick, that was a little bit too far. To be fair, Mason decided to fire first, but at the end of the day, he was 10 years old. You would think that would have made Jeffree stop himself from retaliating, but no.
I'm glad you feel so much better about yourself, David.
Because Jeffree Star is like spoiled AF.
How weird is this world? You have Addison Rae, a TikTok star, basically babysitting Mason through Instagram Live as he goes off on different celebrities. And as you saw in that clip, he called him spoiled AF, to which Jeffree Star replied in a now deleted tweet, "I had $500 in my bank account 6 years ago. Maybe he's confused with his own privilege versus mine being self-made. Hopefully his father can educate him soon." Okay, Jeffree, he's 10. Secondly, I guarantee he only made that comment because he saw James Charles had rolled into the chat.
At number 2, Davi Vanity. The Davi Vanity controversy is something that's sort of stretched over the years and isn't one of the most well-known scandals Jeffree's been in. Davi Vanity is a former musician from the band Blood on the Dance Floor. He and Jeffree used to be friends back in his MySpace/music career days until something controversial and inappropriate happened involving Davi. Jeffree made allegations on Twitter that he saw Davi engaging in misconduct with girls that were under the age of 18 and said that he would no longer support him. About a year after his allegations, Jeffree took back what he said and seemed to have reconciled with Davi. Now Chris Hansen has caught wind of Davi's allegations and is now investigating. Fans have harped on Jeffree before for being complicit with Davi's actions, but others have defended him, saying that Davi is a master manipulator and somehow convinced Jeffree to forgive him. Either way, Jeffree's been involved in this drama since day one, since he was the first whistleblower.
Last but certainly least in our number one spot, racism. During his rise to the top, Jeffree Star has become infamous for his Twitter feuds and controversial comments. This became a serious issue though when allegations of racism were hurled his way that involved comments made 12 years ago. Additionally, he was accused of using black creators to present an image of diversity. Although the biggest person to call Jeffree out on his racism was vlogger extraordinaire Jackie Aina. She posted an open letter addressing conflict in the beauty community and pointed out Star's continued racism. In the tweet she said, "I have not and will not excuse his blatantly racist behavior, not his past references to me in derogatory terms, his continued use of the N-word, nor his efforts to eliminate spaces and opportunities for people of color. No one in the community should feel they are protected enough to continuously say things to make black women feel ugly and ashamed in their own skin. This is sadly a privilege that I and some, Jeffree included, have abused for far too long." With that though, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled "YouTube Rewind Cancelled Because of This."
Zoe says, so why don't they do a rewind with smaller YouTubers, giving them the spotlight for once? That is a very good idea.
Good
I
idea.
love that. I mean, I know, YouTube Rewind's kind of dropped the ball lately, so maybe this break is good, and then they'll come back and give them,
Yeah, they can get some tips from the better ones that other smaller creators create.
Yeah.
It's Adri says, honestly, I was really excited about the 2020 Rewind.
Why?
What were you excited about?
Just highlighting our misfortunes.
Yeah.
India Shante says, I'm sorry, but this is hilarious to me.
It really was.
Yeah.
Huey Yan says, it's not fair how YouTube uses these same people each year for rewinds. Let some others get into it too. You're not wrong. They do reuse a lot of people that we're getting very sick and tired of seeing over and over again.
Switch it up, people.
Switch it. New creators, let's go.
Wrinkles on Donut says, we should make an unofficial one, gather all our small creators, and highlight the best of this crazy and complicated community. That is a very good idea, but
Maybe each separate community makes one?
Yeah.
Beauty community has their own rewind where they go over everybody that got canceled.
That would be a show.
It would be brutal. But that has been today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers.
And I've been Bree Room.
And until next time, stay classy.
Hi. I hear you, Train. Every time.
Let's wait for you.
It's Friday.
Friday, Bree. While we wait for the train. Bree, say what's up.
Hello.
Although the biggest person to call Jeffree out on his racism was vlogger extraordinary Ina? Although the biggest, what did I turn into Borat all of a sudden? Can I just scroll it a little bit? Thank you.
James Charles is one of the biggest YouTube creators on the platform. With his 24.5 million YouTube subscribers and 25 million Instagram followers, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's pretty famous, and as we've learned over the years of watching internet drama unfold, everything you do or say online or in the public eye is subject to scrutiny, and with scrutiny comes scandal. Today we're taking a trip down T-Spill Lane as we count down the top 10 biggest James Charles controversies, because there are a lot of them. Starting us off at number 10, we have the Alicia Keys drama. Back in August, singer Alicia Keys announced that she was going to be launching a beauty brand with e.l.f. Cosmetics in 2021. Well, this news apparently offended James Charles quite a bit, as he took to Twitter to voice his opinion on the matter. In a now deleted tweet, James told his followers that he believed that, quote, people who do not wear makeup should not be coming out with makeup brands, end quote. Backlash ensued, and so in response, he issued an apology saying that what he did was childish, but also backing up what he was saying about people having makeup brands, where he said, quote, a few years ago, Alicia announced that she would no longer wear makeup, so I was bothered because many celebrities come into the beauty space as a cash grab without any actual passion and then leave, end quote. He followed that up by saying that he is not the gatekeeper of makeup and that everyone should be able to create whatever business they want to. Later on, James looked even worse online after it was revealed that Alicia's brand was going to be skincare and not makeup like he thought. At number 9, Ebola joke. One of the first scandals that James experienced happened just after he was named CoverGirl Cosmetics' first cover boy. In a since deleted tweet from 2017, James ruffled quite a few feathers as he joked about contracting Ebola on his trip to South Africa after tweeting, quote, I can't believe we're going to Africa today, OMG, what if we get Ebola? James was on a high after getting a number of new supporters from his CoverGirl campaign, and so there were a lot more eyes on him at this time. Fans called James's tweet degrading and stereotypical, and instead of addressing the hate, James instead started blocking people who were calling him out for his actions. After a little while, James finally issued an apology for his tweet, saying that he was, quote, extremely sorry and that his words were extremely offensive and degrading. James also called the entire continent of Africa a country, but that's besides the point. At number 8, mugshot challenge. There was a time on the internet not too long ago where the mugshot challenge was a very popular trend. Basically, the whole premise of the challenge was to, quote, create attractive and staged mugshots, end quote. Though the trend seemed fun to others, as people were using makeup to create bruises and bloody noses to make themselves look like they just got into a fight or something, others saw it as incredibly offensive, especially to those who have been victims of abuse, because it was seen as glorifying violence. James Charles was one of the people who participated in this challenge, and being the public figure that he is, he faced a lot of backlash for his actions. In response to the hate he was getting, James voiced his opinions on his minor cancellation in a now deleted tweet where he said, quote, only I could lazily smudge on some purple eyeshadow and fake blood to recreate a dumb TikTok trend and have it twisted into an actual scandal, lol. Fortunately, the trend has since died off, but still, let's not make ourselves look battered and bruised, guys. At number 7, Gage Gomez drama. Influencer Gage Gomez tried exposing James Charles in April of 2019, just before the bi-sister scandal was about to erupt. The two were first seen together at Coachella, and though people had suspected that the two were potentially an item of some kind, it turned out that it was quite the opposite. On April 29, 2019, Gage posted a YouTube video where he proceeded to call James out for allegedly manipulating him. In the video, Gage said that he felt pressured to hang out with the beauty YouTuber and that, quote, James saw this as an opportunity to manipulate me as a person who may or may not have been still trying to figure out things about their own sexuality after the fact that I told him I was straight multiple times, end quote. This was in response to James saying that Gage had actually conned him and that he had been playing him for months. Following the video, James and Gage's tweets got leaked, which caused fans to further suspect James of manipulating Gage, and this, combined with the allegations that Tati made against James later on, did not help his image in the slightest. At number 6, It controversy. In September 2017, James got caught in the middle of a scandal involving the movie It and some of the film's actors. There was a lot of hype surrounding the film when it was first released, so naturally James went to see it, but quickly changed his tune from being excited about the movie to calling it, quote, awful and predictable. His series of tweets bashing the movie caught the attention of Finn Wolfhard, one of the actors in the film, and in response to James's hate, he tweeted out saying, quote, why are you on your phone in the movie theater? Rule 1. To which James responded saying that he was, quote, kinda honored to be dragged by a legendary child actor. You'd think that after all this he'd leave the film alone since he hated it so much, right? Wrong. Shortly after this drama, James started getting called a hypocrite because he proceeded to do a Pennywise-inspired look on his YouTube channel. James's hypocrisy did not sit right with actor Wyatt Oleff, another one of the film's stars, where he tweeted out saying, quote, when you decide to exploit a movie that you hate for money and attention, cause why not? Way to start Hollywood beefs. At number 5, Dinner with the D'Amelios. Just a few weeks ago in late November, James got caught up in some D'Amelio drama after their episode of Dinner with the D'Amelios went live, and a lot of people got upset. Essentially, people were mad at Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio for not respecting their personal chef and for being ungrateful about the number of followers Charlie has on TikTok. Well, after this drama started unfolding, James started defending Charlie, saying that the hate and backlash that she was getting was unnecessary. Then Trisha Paytas got involved for some reason and started calling James's relationship with Charlie inappropriate and predatory. In response, James made a now deleted video in response to Trisha's accusations where he said, quote, to insinuate that the relationship between Charlie and I is anything other than just a friendship is absolutely disgusting. I don't need Charlie and Charlie does not need me. I became friends with the D'Amelio family as a whole very early on because this was all very new to them and I wanted to be a friend and a mentor in any way that I possibly could. And Charlie and I, despite not being the same age, had one thing in common, which is coming into the spotlight at a very young age. He went on to say that Trisha has no right to be placing accusations like this, saying, quote, you are in no position to be talking about me and my career, so I highly recommend that you stop starting fights with people that are half your age, pack it up, and work on holding yourself and your best friends around you because they and you are the problem. I'm still a little confused as to how this controversy went from the D'Amelios being ungrateful to James's relationship with Charlie, but I don't know, it's the internet. At number 4, pandemic party. This past summer, amidst the pandemic, obviously, influencers were throwing and attending parties and a lot of people faced backlash for it. James Charles was one of those influencers facing backlash for their unsafe participation in a pandemic party. In July, there was a birthday party being thrown for internet star Larry Merritt, and among the other party guests was none other than Sister James. Obviously, being influencers, the party was posted all over social media, so the entire internet was made witness to this group of influencers being unsafe and breaking COVID protocols. The backlash ensued, led by YouTuber Tyler Oakley, and James was one of those caught in the crossfire. A lot of people were holding James accountable for his actions because they were being so irresponsible and not setting a good example for their audience. At the party, there was no social distancing, no one was wearing a mask, and this group of influencers was heavily criticized for not being safe. In response to the backlash, James issued an apology saying, quote, "Even though I've been wearing a mask in public and have tested negative multiple times, going to a party during a pandemic was selfish and stupid. People's safety and keeping COVID-19 contained is far more important than celebrating a friend's birthday, and unsafe partying is not something I want to promote to my audience." End quote. At number 3, H3H3 feud. In September of this year, James Charles was involved in a sister scandal over merch designs. Basically, James was releasing a new collection of his sister's apparel line that was a color block design. It included colors like pink, green, blue, and yellow, all in pastel colors. Now, this launch caught the attention of Ethan and Gila Klein from the channel H3H3 Productions because they had released their own color block merch sometime before James, and the look was eerily similar. Ethan then accused James of stealing their merch designs from their Teddy Fresh line. They said that because the colors and designs were so similar, that James had to have copied their design, and even backed up their accusations with photos of sketches that they had done for their color block collection in 2017. People said that Ethan and Gila were reaching when they were accusing James of stealing their designs, but when it came out that Ethan and James had actually been in contact about this merch business, and that James had said that he was going to sell his merch anyway, saying that it didn't matter because they have different demographics anyway. This drama wasn't ever really resolved, it sort of just fizzled out, but I want to know what your opinion is on this and which party was right, if any. At number 2, James's sexuality. 2019 was not a good year for James because along with the bi-sister drama and the Gage Gomez stuff, James also faced backlash saying that he wasn't fully gay and referring to trans men as not being real men. This all started after James did a video with fellow YouTuber and member of the Vlog Squad, Jeff Wittick. In the video, they got to talking about James's sexuality, and when asked about it, James said that he isn't fully gay, saying, quote, "So the Kinsey scale is like 0 to 6, 0 being like completely straight and 6 being like completely gay. I truly believe the amount of people who are flat out 0 or flat out 6 is very, very small." James then goes on to say, quote, "There have been girls in the past that I thought have been really, really beautiful. There's also been like trans guys in the past too, that I was really, really into for a moment in time." A lot of people took what James said to offense because by him saying that he's not fully gay because he found trans men attractive in the past, this is discrediting trans men as actual men. He later apologized for his words, but his community was not impressed. At number 1, bi-sister. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with this scandal because it was and still is talked about so much online, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Obviously, we couldn't talk about James's controversies without referencing the bi-sister scandal. In May 2019, the beauty community went nuclear after Tati Westbrook made a video essentially canceling James Charles. She spoke out about him not supporting her Halo Beauty brand and even went so far as to accuse him of having inappropriate relationships with others. On top of that, fellow beauty YouTuber Jeffree backed Tati up, saying that he had receipts to support her claims. This all caused James to get canceled online and cost him millions of followers and subscribers. This whole scandal blew up massively online and caused so much damage to James' career and well-being. It was messy and there was tons of back and forth videos, and it was just a lot of chaos. James' career has sort of recovered since then, but it surely is a scandal that we won't forget anytime soon. Now I want to know what you think of James Charles. Is he one of your favorite YouTubers, or could you care less? And what about his controversies? What are your opinions on them? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, but in the meantime, let's get to some comment shoutouts from our video of the top 10 people fired for tweeting. Catalan Maruja says, "Bria asked for likes so nicely, I'm usually like, of course, anything for you." I just want to be nice on the internet. Kim Dyer says, "I think you should only tweet things you're willing to stand by and know that you never will be ashamed of what it says." I mean, exactly. If you can't think 5 years down the line like, maybe that wasn't a good idea to tweet, maybe just don't tweet it. Kayla Mason 2.0 says, "I don't know why, but for some reason I just don't like when this girl does the news. She's kind of boring or something. It's just not as exciting as Charlotte." I agree with you. I don't like this girl either, to be honest. She kind of sucks. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I've been your host, Bree Room, and until next time, stay safe, be kind to others, and have an awesome day. TTFN, my dudes.